All right, so we're diving deep today into this let them theory. I feel like it's been everywhere online lately,
Right.
especially about prom night,
Oh,
ending up with like 20 kids in formal wear
oh my God.
crammed into this tiny taco joint
No.
because there was like a huge downpour, yeah.
Oh, that's rough.
Just like instantly you're in that situation,
Yeah, totally.
But then she goes deeper,
Yeah.
It's not just about prom night disasters, right?
Definitely not.
It's about this like bigger idea that we all have this need to control others and how like letting go of that can actually lead to more peace.
Yeah, exactly. And it's something we all struggle with to some degree.
So true. And what I find fascinating is how Robbins digs into the like why behind all that control. Why do we do that?
Oh, it is.
And she points to things like anxiety and fear.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We crave certainty, right?
Absolutely.
And when we can't find that within ourselves,
Yeah.
we try to like create it by controlling everything around us.
It's like we're trying to impose order on chaos.
Totally, like building this perfect bubble
Right.
where nothing unexpected can happen.
But as Robbins points out,
Yeah.
that kind of control is an illusion,
Oh, absolutely.
and it can really backfire.
Creating more stress in the end
Yeah,
than
exactly.
it relieves.
More stress than it relieves.
So then she goes into the psychology of it, like why we think this way.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because we often like mix up control with love.
Uh-huh.
We think that if we micromanage everyone and everything, it means we care.
Oh, totally.
Like classic overbearing parents, right?
Yeah.
Pushing their kids towards specific careers.
Because they're convinced it's for their own good.
Exactly. And it makes me wonder,
Yeah.
like, is it really about the other person's well-being?
It's a good question.
Or is it about our own anxieties? Like, are we trying to protect them?
Right.
Or are we trying to protect ourselves from something?
Protecting ourselves from some perceived threat.
Yes.
It's definitely something to consider.
And she emphasizes this, too,
Uh-huh.
that letting go of control isn't about being passive
Right.
or indifferent.
It's not about giving up.
Exactly. It's about recognizing
Yeah.
that we just can't force our will on others.
We can't force our will on others.
Right? And she has this amazing analogy.
Okay.
It's from psychologist Dr. Amy Johnson.
Oh, I love her work.
Me too. So she says, imagine you're paddling upstream
Okay.
against this like super strong current.
Yeah.
It's exhausting, right?
So exhausting.
Then you're getting nowhere.
And it's ultimately futile,
But when you let go of the oars
Uh-huh.
and just float downstream,
You're embracing the flow.
yeah, you embrace the natural current.
You go with the flow.
Yes, and that's what letting go of control can feel like.
That's a great analogy. I love that.
So then she gets into like the how-to, right?
Right. The practical application.
She breaks the let them theory down into 3 things.
Okay.
Detachment, giving space for growth,
Okay.
and accepting people as they are.
Right. Let's start with detachment.
Yeah, that seems like it should be easy.
It sounds straightforward.
But I think it can be tricky.
It definitely can be.
So for you, what is detachment, really?
Well, it's not about apathy,
Okay.
It's about consciously choosing to disengage
Okay.
from emotional turmoil
Uh-huh.
over things we just can't control.
Like what kinds of things?
Think about those everyday frustrations like
Sure.
traffic jams
Oh, yeah.
or flight delays
Definitely.
or even like those social media posts
Oh, yeah.
that get under your skin.
Totally.
We give all this power to those things.
Like it dictates our mood.
Ex-
Yeah, and it's like
it doesn't have to.
we have a choice.
Right.
We absolutely do.
Yeah, we can get swept up in the drama
Yeah.
or we can take a step back and be like,
Right.
okay, this is happening, but how do I want to respond?
It's a mindset shift, really.
So it's about radical acceptance.
Exactly. Radical acceptance.
What does that even mean?
I think a lot of people hear that term
Yeah.
and they think it means giving up,
Or like,
resigning yourself to something bad.
yeah.
But it's not about that at all.
Okay, so what is it?
It's about acknowledging reality
Okay.
as it is, without resistance.
Without resistance. Okay.
It's about recognizing what you can and cannot control.
So you can't control the weather,
Right.
but you can control
How you prepare for it.
how you prepare for it.
And you can't control other people's opinions,
Okay.
but you can control
How you react.
how you react to them.
So it's less about manipulating the event itself
Yes.
and more about managing our response to it.
Exactly. It's an internal shift. Okay, I like that.
And that leads us to
Yeah.
the second application,
All right, what is it?
giving space for growth.
Oh, okay.
And this is where things can get
Yeah.
really challenging.
Especially with people we care about.
Oh, absolutely.
Robbins talks about letting others fail
Yes.
Even when it's hard to watch.
Even when it's painful.
Yeah, like that example she gives.
What example?
Of the school that has this policy
Okay.
of not bringing forgotten lunches to kids.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Sounds kind of harsh, right?
It does on the surface.
But the idea is that it teaches them responsibility.
Right. They learn to develop systems.
Yeah, and become more independent.
Exactly. It's about empowerment.
Which I think a lot of us struggle with.
It's tough to watch people we love struggle.
Yeah, we want to shield them from pain.
But we might be robbing them of important lessons.
Like those parents who rescue their kids.
Constantly rescuing them.
Wait, every little thing.
It prevents them from developing resilience.
Oh, that's a good point.
They don't learn to solve problems on their own.
And she even talks about how this applies to adults.
In all kinds of situations.
Like addiction, even.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
The idea is that sometimes the most loving thing is to step back.
And allow someone to hit rock bottom.
Because only then
will they be ready for help.
It's a hard concept to grasp.
Yes, it really is.
Especially when it's someone we love.
It requires a delicate balance.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like detachment and compassion.
Right, we detach from the outcome.
But we offer compassion when they need it.
Exactly, we hold space for their growth.
Without trying to control their path.
Precisely.
And that brings us to the third application. Accepting people as they are.
This one's big.
It is. It really is.
Accepting people as they are, not as we wish they were.
Not as we imagine they could be.
Right, but as they are right now.
I feel like this is where we get tripped up a lot.
Especially in relationships.
Yeah, like we fall in love with someone's potential.
We fall in love with this idealized version.
And then we get frustrated when they don't meet our expectations.
We try to mold them into our vision of perfect.
Robbins really calls us out on this one.
She does.
She's like, are we in love with the actual person?
Or the idea of who we think they should be.
Yeah, it's a tough question.
It can be uncomfortable.
Because trying to change someone just leads to resentment.
Resentment and frustration.
And it undermines trust.
It erodes the foundation of the relationship.
So how do we shift from control to acceptance?
Well, it starts with awareness.
Okay.
Recognizing when we're trying to control.
Yeah.
And understanding the fears behind it.
Okay.
And Robbins gives us these self-coaching questions.
Oh, I love that.
They're so helpful.
What are they again?
What am I afraid of?
Okay.
Whose business am I in?
Okay.
And what feels more like peace?
Those are so good.
They really help us break free from that control cycle.
They force us to look inward.
Instead of projecting outward.
And that's the key to letting go, right?
It's the foundation of self-awareness.
You know, it's like we try to control stuff we have absolutely no power over.
Right.
Robbins gives this example about getting all bent out of shape.
Oh, yeah?
When friends go on a trip without us.
I know, right?
Like, why?
It's so silly when you think about it.
Yeah, it's like their vacation is ruining our mood.
It's classic control freak behavior, you know?
It is.
We make up these stories in our heads.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Like, their decision not to invite us
right.
means they don't like us anymore.
Exactly.
It's all about us. You know?
And then we're just stewing in these negative emotions.
Resentment, hurt feelings.
When we can just be happy for them.
Exactly.
And focus on our own fun stuff.
That's the thing about the let them theory.
Uh-huh.
It's about reframing how we think.
Okay, so instead of dwelling on what we're missing out on,
right,
we should be looking at
we can create.
Yeah, what opportunities are out there?
What experiences are we overlooking?
Because we're so focused on this other thing.
Yeah, we can't control.
Exactly. So our happiness doesn't have to depend
on other people's traits.
Like external factors.
It's a powerful realization.
It really is. It's about mindset.
Absolutely. It's about shifting our focus.
What we can control.
Our thoughts, our reactions.
Okay, and then Robbins gets into this topic.
Oh, this is a big one.
That can be a little uncomfortable.
What is it?
Jealousy.
Oh, jealousy.
Yeah, and her point is that it's often rooted in insecurity and a desire to control our partner's behavior.
Oh, totally.
It's like we're trying to possess them.
Yeah, restrict their freedom.
Because we're anxious.
I want to alleviate our own anxiety.
But it totally backfires, right?
Okay.
Because it creates distance.
And distrust.
Yeah, it sends the message that we don't trust them.
Right.
Or that we don't believe in the relationship.
We're basically saying, I don't think our connection is strong enough.
To withstand this.
To withstand you having other relationships.
Yeah, like friendships or whatever.
And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Okay, explain that.
The more we try to control, the more the other person might pull away.
Oh, wow.
And then that just reinforces our insecurities.
So we should be cultivating trust instead.
Trust and acceptance.
Okay, but how do we do that?
Especially when we're feeling insecure. It's tough.
It is tough.
We have to face those insecurities head on.
Okay.
And figure out where they're coming from.
Like what's causing them.
Exactly. Often jealousy comes from past experiences.
Okay.
Or unresolved emotional wounds.
So it's not even about the current situation.
Sometimes, no.
It's like baggage from the past.
It is.
But Robbins makes it clear that letting go
doesn't mean being passive.
doesn't mean letting people walk all over us.
Right. It's not about tolerating bad behavior.
Okay, so what is it about?
It's about recognizing that we can't control our partner.
Right.
We can control how we respond.
Okay.
And sometimes the most loving response
Yeah.
is to communicate our needs clearly.
Without trying to manipulate them?
Exactly. No control tactics.
Just honest communication.
Exactly.
And that makes me think about accepting people as they are.
Oh, yeah.
Not just in romantic relationships.
In all relationships.
Yeah, like with our friends, family.
Colleagues, everyone.
We try to change people all the time.
We do. It's like we have this blueprint
of
how they should be.
And when they don't fit the blueprint,
we get frustrated.
We do. We focus on their flaws.
Their shortcomings.
Instead of seeing the good stuff.
Qualities that make them special.
And lovable, right?
Right. Robbins wants us to shift our perspective.
Okay, how do we do that?
Instead of trying to force them into our mold, what if we embraced their individuality?
I like that.
Celebrate their strength.
Okay.
Accept their weaknesses.
Wouldn't that lead to better relationships?
More genuine, more fulfilling.
Like we're not constantly trying to change them.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that everyone's on their own journey.
With their own experiences.
And their own perspectives.
We can't control their path.
But we can support them.
Okay. And sometimes support looks like just listening.
Oh, yeah.
Without judgment.
That's huge.
Robbins talks about this friend.
Oh, I remember this.
Who came to her feeling hurt and neglected.
Yeah, and instead of getting defensive,
which would be my first instinct.
Oh, me too.
Robbins just listened.
She validated her friend's feelings.
And their bond became stronger.
That's the power of empathy.
It's like we create this safe space.
For them to just be themselves.
To express themselves without fear.
And that builds connection.
It really does. So sometimes the most loving thing
is to just be present.
To let them have their feelings.
Without trying to fix them.
Or change them.
Exactly.
And she says this applies to all emotions.
Not just sadness.
Anger, too.
Even anger.
Yeah, she tells this funny story.
Oh, about her daughter.
Yeah, her daughter was upset.
Because their plans got delayed.
I remember that, and instead of getting into it with her, Robbins just let her have her feelings.
It's like that drop the oars analogy.
She surrendered to the moment.
Recognizing that fighting would just make it worse.
And the tension just went away.
It's amazing how that works.
By letting her daughter express her frustration.
Robbins actually created connection.
Yeah, it's counterintuitive.
But letting go of control can bring us closer.
Because it shows respect.
Acceptance.
We're saying,
I see you, I hear you.
And I'm here for you.
Even when you're angry.
We're validating their experience.
Without trying to control it.
And this goes for opinions too, right?
Oh, absolutely.
We don't have to agree with everyone.
But we can respect their right to think differently.
The let them theory is all about
embracing diversity of thought.
It's about letting go of the need to be right.
It's so freeing, you know?
It is freeing.
When we let go of that need to convince everyone
that our way is the right way.
It's a huge burden lifted.
It really is. And Robbins even applies this theory.
To what?
To those little everyday annoyances that can trigger us, you know?
Like what?
Like a barking dog.
Oh, yeah.
Or a messy roommate.
I know, right?
She jokes about just letting the dog bark.
And focusing on her own peace.
Instead of getting all worked up.
About something she can't change.
It's funny, but it's also like
a profound point.
Yeah, we have a choice.
We always have a choice.
We can let these little things control our mood.
Or we can choose peace.
Even in the midst of chaos.
It's powerful.
It is. We have more control
over our internal state
than we realize.
We really do.
It's so easy to get caught in that trap, you know, of trying to control everything and everyone.
Like a whirlwind.
It is. It's exhausting.
It is.
But as we've been talking about,
yeah,
that approach can really backfire.
It's often counterproductive.
And this let them theory really makes us rethink things.
It's a huge shift in perspective.
It is.
Instead of clinging to control, we embrace letting go.
And finding freedom in that.
Exactly. Trusting in the flow of life.
Accepting things as they are.
Focusing on what truly matters.
And that's where those self-coaching questions come in.
Oh, those are so good.
They really are. Like asking yourself, what am I afraid of?
It's so illuminating.
It is, because often when we face those fears head on, they lose their power.
It's like we're deflating them.
By simply acknowledging them.
Exactly. And then asking, whose business am I in?
Oh, that one's good.
It helps us set boundaries
between our responsibility
and the autonomy of others.
It reminds us that we can't live other people's lives for them,
no matter how much we might want to.
Even if we think we know what's best.
Sometimes the most loving thing
is to step back
and let them make their own choices,
even if those choices lead to mistakes.
Which brings us to that final question.
What feels more like peace?
Control or letting go?
It's a powerful question.
The answer often points us
toward a happier life,
towards greater fulfillment.
It's interesting thinking back to Robbins' prom night story.
Yeah.
It seems like our attempts to control
often stem from
a desire to avoid discomfort.
We're so afraid of things going wrong,
of feeling uncomfortable,
that we try to control every little detail.
But that's where we miss out.
On the beauty of spontaneity.
On those unexpected moments.
That lead to joy, growth, connection.
We're so busy controlling the journey
that we forget to enjoy the ride.
Exactly. And Robbins encourages us
to embrace the unknown.
To trust that even when things go off track,
there's a bigger picture unfolding
that we might not be able to see yet.
Trust the process.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the let them theory,
okay,
what's one thing that really stuck with you?
That's a good question.
Where in your life could you maybe let go a little?
Where can you drop those oars?
And just float downstream.
Maybe it's in your relationships.
Your work.
Or even your own inner world.
Where are you clinging too tightly?
Trying to force things.
What would it look like to loosen your grip?
To embrace acceptance and trust.
And remember, this isn't about being passive.
It's not about letting people walk all over you.
It's about choosing your battles.
Recognizing what you can and cannot control.
And focusing your energy on things that bring you joy.
Finding that balance.
Between responsibility and surrender.
Between action and letting go.
Trusting that even when we release control,
life has a way of working things out.
So as you navigate the ups and downs of life,
remember the let them theory.
Embrace the freedom of letting go.
Choose peace over control.
And watch how that shift transforms your experience.
Until next time, deep divers.
Keep exploring.
And keep letting go of those oars.